everybody, and welcome. How are you guys doing? I just want to say hi to Colleen. She says, I guess I'm early. Hello, all, only by a smidgen. And Jill is in the house. Hi, both of you. Hi, everybody who's here watching, even if you're not commenting. So I just want to start out by saying that Todd is not here with me right now. Hopefully, he'll come in sometimes toward the end. He had a meeting with a client and it was a face-to-face. So we're rooting for you, Todd. I'm sure he's going to do well with that. But yeah, so it's me. Oh, hi, Core Scorpy. Nice to have you here. Hi, Gina. Hey, hi, Jackie. Great to see you. And so bear with me. The chat is going a little faster than I'm used to. Oh, hi, Karen. Good to see you. Hi, Lisa. So it's so great to have everyone here. And I don't know if you could hear that, but Remy's in the house and he's barking right now because he hears me saying hello. I think he thinks that you're all here in the house. But at any rate, I am so grateful to have you here. I want to officially say hello, beautiful people, because I believe you all are. And I want to welcome you back to my channel. I'm so happy that you're here. And, today I want to talk about how we can eat to literally add more life to our years, right? And more years to our life. Because I believe the truth is you are what you eat. I know that sounds kind of quirky, but it's really true. So the power of whole foods that are plant-based is about feeling good, moving well, thinking clearly, and living longer with vitality. So I want to talk about how we can use food to help us live a longer, healthier, and more vibrant life. So what we put into our bodies, it affects everything. Our immune system, our energy levels, our hormones, our skin, our brain health, and even our mood. The right nutrition can prevent diseases. It can reverse damage and enhance our quality of life. And even this can go into the 80s, 90s, and beyond. Years old, I'm talking about. So it doesn't guarantee that we won't get sick at some point, but it could be less severe, and you might recover more quickly than if we weren't eating for longevity. So studies show that people who eat a nutrient-dense diet are less likely to suffer from heart disease, type 2 diabetes, autoimmune conditions, and even some forms of cancer. So the food we choose today is influencing how we live today as well as years from now. So when you're about to take a bite of something, maybe ponder that question if you think about it. And I am going to ask you a question and then I'm going to check the chat. So have you ever had a time in your life where you felt incredibly vibrant, like your energy was just flowing? Let me know in the chat. So I'm going to check the chat. And I just say, everyone's saying hello to each other. And Gina says, Remy is saying hello to us. Remy is. And it's so good to have Rem around to do that. So, I'll tell you, yes, there's tons of times when I have felt incredibly vibrant, where my energy was just flowing and I felt like I could do anything, incredibly incredible, and not tired and not sluggish from the foods that I've eaten. And that has been while I've been eating, whole food plant-based. So Core Scorpy says yes. And Jackie says yes. Back in my 40s. Well, okay. What about today? And, do you think that food is a player in that role? So I'm glad to hear that you guys have said yes, that there have been times when you've felt incredibly vibrant. And I'd like to enlighten you and hopefully help you continue to feel that way or feel that way again. So, okay, let's start with talking about antioxidants because they are such a key part of building a long, vibrant, and healthy life. Antioxidants are natural compounds, they're found in plant foods. And they play a major role in protecting your body on a cellular level. So, what they're really doing is helping to guard our cells against something called oxidative stress, which is really just a fancy way of saying internal damage that happens over time from things like poor diet or environmental toxins. It can be caused by stress or even just breathing and aging, is as weird as that sounds. So now I like to think of oxidative stress like this. So it's kind of like your body rusting from the inside out, just like metal rust when it's exposed to the elements. Our bodies can like rust. I mean, not really, but kind of, also when we're overloaded with free radicals. So those unstable little molecules that bounce around and they damage healthy cells, those are free radicals. So over time the damage can add up and contribute to chronic inflammation, accelerated aging, and diseases like heart disease, Alzheimer's, even cancer. So, but there's a beautiful part to this. Antioxidants come to the rescue, right? So they neutralize the free radicals and they help bring balance back into our system. So, some of the most powerful antioxidants I'm going to go over in just a minute, but I do want to check the chat and I want to take a sip of water. So, I have some water right here, and it's so important to drink water. And we're going to talk about water. Okay. So, I'm just checking the chat. And Lisa says, I find when I eat high raw that I have a lot of energy. Okay, I hear a lot about that. And I have experienced that as well, although I tend to always still be hungry, or I get hungry quicker afterwards. But that's awesome. That's awesome. And that you know that. And Gina says, Lisa, I feel good now and I feel even better when I eat raw. I also notice that all my cravings disappear. Right on, right on. And Karen Hicks is in the house. Hello, Karen. Hello from San Antonio, Texas, she says. And Gina says, yay, antioxidants. Yes. um, so, some of the most powerful antioxidants I want to talk about include vitamin C. And you can find that in citrus fruits, strawberries, bell peppers, even broccoli. And I have some of that right here. These oranges, these citrus right here, there's 3 of them. I don't know if you could see them. I got those off the tree today, so I'm really excited to have those. And we also have a blood orange in there too. But citrus, I just wanted to share that, is found in a lot of different things. And I was surprised to learn that bell peppers had citrus when I first learned that. I didn't realize that, I thought citrus, vitamin C, I just always thought oranges, but it is oranges, but it's also bell peppers, strawberries, and even, like I said, broccoli. So vitamin E, that's found in seeds. And I tried to have a display here. I've got some seeds here. And nuts. It's also leafy greens, avocado. Here's leafy greens. Here's some nuts and seeds. And I hope you can find stuff as I'm talking about it here. So beta carotene, which gives us the bright orange and yellow vegetables. They're beautiful color, like carrots and sweet potatoes and squash. I have carrots and squash here, and I've got sweet potatoes here, these cute little ones. And I have this one cut off because I used part of it and it was a pretty big squash. And funny, I made a dish with this squash and these sweet potatoes and carrots the other day. And and it was all raw. Just, I don't know if you care about that, but I'm sharing that because I'm looking at this and we're talking about it. So but I don't want you to forget about the power of berries. Ta-da! Berries. Berries are amazing. So, especially these are blueberries, and I only have a little bit left because I've been eating them like crazy. I've been getting the Costco ones in the big containers. Blackberries, we have a blackberry bush. It's not producing right now. Raspberries, I have raspberries in the freezer. It's just good to always have berries on hand. And we have a mulberry bush, and it's starting to produce too. So, wherever you are, whatever berries you can get, don't forget about berries. They're little gems, and they're packed with polyphenols, and those protect our brain. And something that I'm always excited about is they fight inflammation. Bringing inflammation down was a game changer for me. And so I just, don't forget the berries. And I even throw berries in anywhere. Like, you can have berries just as a snack, but you can throw them in cereal if you eat cereal, oatmeal, or anything like that. I love them in my salad. And with any other greens, I think they're so amazing. So you'll also find amazing antioxidant support in leafy greens like spinach and kale and bell peppers again, which we already have talked about, but I keep bringing it up because they're amazing. And even in fresh herbs like parsley and cilantro, which a lot of people forget. Those are powerful medicinal foods in their very own way. And you've probably heard me say before, but I'm going to say it again. Eat the rainbow. The more colors on your plate, the more protective compounds you're giving your body. So it's so important to just create beautiful rainbow plates that you can look at and know that that's all helping inside too. And your blueberries, they do deserve like a special shout out because they've been shown to specifically support memory. And I don't know if you could hear Remy, but he's chatting again. And reduce cognitive decline as we age. So they're like the brain food superheroes. So I would love to hear, do you guys have any thoughts or comments about berries? Maybe your favorite kind of berries. Maybe there's a berry that I mentioned and you've never heard of or never tried. Or what do you do with berries? How do you eat them? Because I mentioned that I like them in my salad. Of course, I do them in smoothies, but it's always fun to hear what you guys think about berries. And so going just to see if anyone else wanted to add to the time when they felt vibrant and energized. Well, I know a few of you shared that you did. And so just checking the chat here, I don't see anything, so I'll keep going. And hopefully you'll want to share about what your thoughts are regarding berries. So another thing that I want to talk about regarding longevity is what about healthy fats, right? So I'm going to ask you another question. Oh, I see something coming in. So let's just check the chat. Core Scorpy, I feel most vibrant when I'm exercising or post-workout, yoga included. Awesome. Awesome. That's amazing. Lisa says, I love blueberries and strawberries in my oatmeal. Oh, yeah, that's great. Why not? And I love that you have two different berries that are different colors, right? Because that goes back to the whole rainbow thing. Colleen, I just put a bunch in a bowl and I eat them up. And that sounds delicious. And I like that too. Yes, Colleen says, simple. Simple is super. I really like that too. Yes. And even if you are baking or cooking, you can make whole food plant-based blueberry muffins and all kinds of things that are delicious with berries, and they could be in anything. I also like to use berries sometimes in dressings. Like I'll make a homemade dressing recently with raspberries, and it was really good. But I did strain them because they're, sometimes with certain berries, they have these little tiny seeds. And so I wanted it to be, without that little seed getting in my teeth. So anyways, okay. Does anyone know What foods contain healthy fats? Because I want to talk about fats. What foods contain healthy fats? Anybody? So, and also, if you have any questions for me, please put them in the chat and I will get to them. Also, if you haven't subscribed to my channel, hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell. Then you'll be notified when I go live or post new videos. And if you aren't on my newsletter, well, go to thejenniferdiamond.com and sign up, and we'd love to have you there. So hopefully you guys are thinking about the fat question. And I see Core Scorpy says avocado and nuts. Jill says nuts. Colleen, avocado. John Jew is in the house. Hello, John. Avocado and nuts. I see a pattern here, you guys. But look, Gina, the rebel, she said flax and chia seeds. Yeah. So you guys are all right. Everyone is correct. And here we have, our hemp seeds. We have chia seeds and I have flax seeds. These are ground up. We have nuts and seeds and avocado, all of those wonderful fats. And yeah, thanks for playing along, you guys. So, okay, let's just talk about fats for a little bit. Let's start with trans fats and saturated fats, because those are the ones that you want to avoid. So in fact, trans fats have been banned in some countries, not ours. We're here in the US. But isn't that amazing? So trans fat is a type of dietary fat. And of all the different fats, trans fats is the worst one for your health, right? Because too much trans fat in your diet increases your risk for health problems, including heart disease. Trans fats are made when liquid oils are turned into solid fats, like shortening, or margarine. And these are called partially hydrogenated oils because they turn into a solid. And sometimes people look at them and they go by PHOs, but partially hydrogenated oils. Now, because of the health risks from these fats, the United States Food and Drug Administration, or the FDA, has banned food manufacturers from adding the PHOs to food. So although the food industry has greatly reduced the use of our trans fat in recent years, this type of fat may still be around in many of our fried foods or packaged foods or processed foods. And that would include anything like fried or battered kind of foods, shortening or stick margarine, commercially baked cakes, pies, cookies, refrigerated dough, animal foods such as red meats and dairies. They all have small amounts of trans fats, which is not cause for concern in its natural form. Most trans fats are artificially made and come from processed foods. So we're going to go over to saturated fats, but I just want to take a second to check the chat and just make sure that we're all good. John Ju says, hi all, and hi Jennifer and Todd, and hello again, John. And I just want to repeat myself in case you came in and you didn't hear. Todd is not here right now. We're hoping he'll be back in a little bit. He is at a meeting with a client in person, and we're wishing him the best with that. And Colleen says, we are the rebels, in the wrong way. No, we are the rebels, leading the pack to lots of energy, right? Core Scorpy said, anything hydrogenated contains trans fats too. Yeah, yes, definitely. And I appreciate everybody's chatting and interaction. So keep it coming. Trans fats I want to talk about. So trans fats, which are like those from animal products, right? Those can increase your risk of heart disease. They raise your cholesterol. You get your blood test and you see, oh my gosh, my cholesterol. They cause inflammation in the body, which you can't always see. Sometimes you can feel it. I know when I had inflammation, I didn't realize the signs that my body was giving me was actually inflammation. But other things it could do, it can cause acne, so you could see it in your skin issues. It can cause weight gain. People have trouble, losing weight. Highly processed oils, even the ones labeled healthy, right, are also stripped of fiber, the nutrients, and they're full of empty calories. And that's why I avoid them. Plus, I have shared how to eat a whole food, plant-based lifestyle, and it doesn't need any oil, and you're still going to feel great, and you can actually taste the food. But don't worry, there are healthy fats, right? Because and you guys mentioned some of them. And so we're going to talk about them. Um, and so before I just start there, I just want to read Core Scorpy said nutrition labels might say trans fats, but if there is a hydrogenated ingredient, then there's trans fats. Oh, I see. So nutrition labels might say trans fats and then zero. But you're saying if there is hydrogenated ingredients, but then there are trans fats. So, okay. Thank you for sharing. So yeah, let's talk about the healthy fats because we want to focus on the good stuff. These are the type of fats that support your heart, your brain, your hormones, your cell health. And these are all the good guys, right? So healthy fats that help reduce inflammation, lower your risk of chronic disease, and keep you feeling full and satisfied after meals. I tell you, if I am not full after a meal, I'm looking and hunting, and this will help us with that category because that's what you want. You want to feel satiated. So these fats are called monounsaturated fats, or you might see polyunsaturated fats or naturally occurring fats, and that's in whole plant foods. And they're also found in so many other foods as well. And then, of course, they're the omega 3s, right? Which I know you guys already have brought up. So, omega 3 fatty acids in particular are amazing. Amazing, incredible for heart health, brain function, and lowering inflammation. I had no idea how important they were when I first transitioned. And inflammation, as we know, is one of the root causes of nearly every chronic disease out there, I believe. Are there any other comments about foods that contain healthy fats? You guys did such a great job, and I think you covered it. And so some of the things that you guys said and a few that I'm going to talk about, specifically walnuts. Walnuts are amazing. Now, I mean, I wouldn't say, let's all sit down with a bag of walnuts, but an ounce or so, crumbled or crushed up in a salad, or, just a little bit, maybe mixed in your simple blueberries that Colleen mentioned. It might just be the way to go. I actually enjoy having a little tiny container like this one here. And I recently filled it with walnuts, so it was about an ounce. And then I had it with an apple. And I would take a couple bites of the apple, and it was snacking. We were out, and then I would have like one walnut, and I really liked that combination. There's also the flaxseed we talked about, chia seeds, hemp seeds, and ground flax is really important. If you don't grind it up and you just eat the seed, it'll just go through you. So I like to add the ground flax, and I like to grind it myself, just so that I know that it's not rancid, it's fresh, and I can add that to smoothies, sprinkle it on my salad. Some people like it in their oatmeal and cereals. You can put it anywhere, really. And so I personally add ground flax or chia, and sometimes both of them, to something every day, like what I mentioned, the smoothies and the salads. So omega 3s have also been shown to support joint health, improve your mood, and even reduce symptoms of anxiety and depression. So they're not just good for your body, they're good for your mind. Isn't that incredible? Did you guys know that? So before we move on to the next topic, which is going to be fiber, I just want to take a second to check the chat and let's just see. Um, let's see. Give me a second. Oh, of course, trans fat 0. Yes. Yes, exactly. Okay, Gina, that's good to know. Yes. So, okay, we're still good. So let's move on to fiber. Okay, fiber, in my opinion, is one of the most underrated nutrients when it comes to longevity. No, seriously, it is like a superhero in the world of nutrition. And it's not like flashy, but it plays a huge role in keeping your body running smoothly and your health on track for the long haul. So, you guys, next question for you. What foods contain the highest amounts of fiber? Go ahead and tell me what you think. Fiber does so many amazing things. And in the standard American diet, we don't get enough fiber. But fiber is so important. It helps regulate your blood sugar, which is so important, not just for people with diabetes or insulin resistance, but it's so important for everyone who wants to have that stable energy, or that stable mood throughout the day. It also lowers cholesterol, which protects your heart, and it supports your gut microbiome, which we haven't spoken about yet. So that microbiome is the incredible ecosystem of bacteria that's living inside your digestive tract, and it influences everything from your immune system to your mental health. So, of course, fiber does help keep things moving, right? If you know what I mean. It keeps you regular, going to the bathroom and making sure that things aren't staying in, the intestinal tract, which can cause its own set of problems. So fiber is so important. And a healthy digestive system is one of the first things that can start to go out of balance when we don't eat enough plants or our fiber, get enough fiber. And eating more fiber is how we can bring it back. So there is one thing that I want to talk about. Most people in the United States are getting just like a fraction of the fiber we need. So the recommended daily amount in the US, in here that I'm aware of, is around 25 to 30 grams. But the average adult is barely getting 10 to 12 grams per day. And I feel like I'm being generous with that. So that's less than half. So if you're eating a whole food plant-based diet, I personally think 40 to 50 grams is ideal. Your body can absolutely thrive on that amount when the fiber comes from the right things, natural, plant-rich sources. So you guys, where do you find fiber? I'm going to look and see if anyone tells me, but I'm just going to say in plants, of course, right? And let's just see what you guys were saying. Oh, Gina says beans. Lisa says beans and greens, coarse scorpy oats for starters. Gina S. Hello, Gina S. Plants. Yes, you guys have got this. Gina says kale for me, coarse scorpy rice. Oh my gosh. Okay. You guys are so great. And if you're watching and you didn't know any of this, you just learned so much. And I just am so happy to interact with you guys. So I am going to repeat some of that stuff that I just read in the chat. The foods that are highest in fiber. And I'm also seeing celery and broccoli. Yeah. Beans, right? Lentils, legumes like peas, lentils, and chickpeas. Okay, so I've got chickpeas here. I've got these right here. These are these azuki. I think that's what they're called. I don't know. Adzuki. Yep, adzuki beans. I don't know why I was blanking on that for a minute. And look at these, split peas. Split peas are another excellent source. So those, and what, the chickpeas, the lentils, the beans, the legumes, all of that. And I have some back here behind me too. These are the total powerhouses for both the fiber and plant-based protein, right? And so leafy greens like kale, chard, spinach, and cruciferous vegetables, which I love, like broccoli, Brussels sprouts, and cabbage. Those are also. What about whole grains such as oats or millet, brown rice, quinoa? Let's see, where we've got some millet right here. And what else do I have? These are these, yeah, I think buckwheat, that's another one, quinoa. Yeah, so we've got them all here. And then we can even find it in fruits. We keep talking about the berry. I'm going to say especially the berry again, or berries, raspberries, and all the berries that we talked about. Apples right here, pears, oranges, with the skin or peel whenever possible. Like, I'm not saying eat the orange peel, but maybe eat the apple skin. and also avocado, believe it or not. So raspberries are particularly high in fiber. Did you guys know that? And don't forget the vegetables like carrots, squashes, beets, spinach, leafy greens like collards and Swiss chard. Oh my goodness. Cruciferous vegetables like Brussels sprouts, broccoli and kale, and artichokes, which I love artichokes. And I keep some artichokes in the freezer when I can't get them fresh. And also these potatoes with the skin. So I've got these little potatoes today, these little different colored ones. And then I've eaten, and sweet potatoes with the skin. These are cute little ones that I just picked up a little bag of. And so before I keep going, I just want to check the chat. Yes, I saw celery and broccoli. Edamame too, Course Scorpy. Almost forgot. Yes. And he says, I love those. Annette. Hi, Annette. So great to have you here and enjoying. Oh, John Jew, air popped popcorn. Hippies. Is that, yeah, hippies, LOL. Okay, yes. I know what you're talking about. And Gina S, yeah, thank you. Okay, you guys. So we're doing great, and I appreciate all the feedback. So now, I just said this a second ago, but I'm going to say it again because a lot of people don't realize it, but fiber also feeds the beneficial bacteria in your gut. These are your friendly microbes. So what are those? They're more the good guys. So when you feed them with fiber, right, they create something called short chain fatty acids. And those short chain fatty acids help us lower the inflammation, support digestion, protect your gut lining, and even enhance our immune system. So some studies even show a connection between a high fiber diet and a low risk of cognitive decline and mood disorders. All just in the right foods. I mean, I just continuously get blown away by this. So when people say you are what you eat, which I truly believe, you can also say you are what you feed your gut. And when your gut is happy, everything else starts to fall into place because your skin starts to glow, your digestion improves, your energy goes up. And I know there were people in the chat earlier that were talking about energy, and your body has a better chance of staying youthful and vibrant for years to come. I mean, isn't that the goal, right? As we get older, our bodies naturally become less efficient at absorbing protein. And at the same time, we start to lose muscle mass. I mean, this is just how it goes. And when you lose too much, it's a condition actually called sarcopenia. This muscle loss isn't just about strength or appearance either. It can also affect our balance, mobility, metabolism, and even our independence, as we get older. So that's why it's so important to make sure that you're not only getting enough protein, but that it's coming from the right sources. So I always recommend plant based proteins. Yes, I do, because they don't just give you protein. They come packaged with the fiber and the antioxidants and the powerful phytonutrients that support your overall health. Compare that to animal based proteins, which often come with other things that, like not good saturated fat, cholesterol. We make our own cholesterol, so we don't need to add another animal's cholesterol. And another thing is inflammatory compounds. So, things we really want to avoid, especially as we age, especially if we want to stay vibrant and able on our own. So, where do we find these amazing plant based proteins? Yeah, I'll share some of my favorites. And I keep bringing up some of the same foods because they are like multi little packaged things, right? So, lentils, chickpeas, right here, black beans, other legumes. Not only are they protein packed, but they're rich in fiber and iron. I'm always watching my iron. And so that's really an important thing to know as well. Now, I have something else that's a good one, tofu. I actually had a package of tempeh that I was going to share, but guess what? I had it for lunch. So I took out a pack of tofu to show you instead. And tofu and tempeh, their fermented soy is a fabulous source of protein. It really is. And tempeh also gives your gut a boost with the natural beneficial probiotics. With beneficial probiotics, yes. So seeds like the hemp and the chia and the flax that we talked about, even pumpkin seeds, which I've got some right here. Pumpkin seeds are amazing. In fact, I was told, like my doctor at True North, one of the doctors there said to me, Dr. Sabatino at one point, he said, I have to have pumpkin seeds. It was like my prescription. Isn't that great? So these tiny guys are nutrient powerhouses. They're full of protein, omega 3s, and minerals like zinc and magnesium. So, whole grains we can switch over, like quinoa, amaranth, farro, buckwheat. Yes, grains contain protein too. And what's so great about grains is they are super satisfying, right? They make us feel full. And that's really important. And so, well, these are green lentils actually, but I think I have, yeah, so I have quinoa over here, and yeah, just to kind of show you all the different grains and even the vegetables like broccoli, peas, spinach, and kale contribute to your daily protein needs. So don't overlook them. And, sometimes people are like, well, I don't care for, like Todd, he doesn't like broccoli. But we discovered when we give it to him as a broccoli sprout, then he likes it. So if there's something that you don't like, there are other things that you can find in the categories to eat. These are just examples and some of my favorites. I just want to check the chat, and I see someone is saying hi to Todd. Todd, are you in the chat? Yes, Core Scorpy said hi at Todd Drive Safe. So if you're in the chat, I hope you're driving safe. I don't know if he is. And Karen is asking, how much do you recommend protein? Well, it's not about what I recommend. It's what's recommended by the RDA. And we had talked about that a little bit before. 25 to 30 grams is a great amount, but you should also check with your doctor to find out what's right for your body type, style, and what works for your blood test. So yeah, that's just definitely getting it in there, and going by the RDA would be a good start. Also, I just want to say one myth I hear all the time is that you can't get enough protein on a plant-based diet. Have you guys heard that before? Totally false. like completely, seriously, absolutely, positively 100% false. So if you're eating enough calories, you're eating enough calories from whole, unprocessed plant foods, then you're almost certainly getting more than enough protein, along with all the fiber and the phytonutrients your body is loving. So most people don't realize that protein is in almost every whole plant food. So, if you don't believe me or you don't think that you're getting protein from plants, then try this for 1 week. Okay, just for 1 week, track your whole food plant based meals on an app, or go to the website for like Chronometer. Um, and it's so eye-opening. You can go there and you can put in all your information for the day, and just to see, or for the week, like we talked about, and then it'll show you, and you'll see, you'll probably be surprised to see just how much protein you're getting without even trying. The the important part is to eat enough, right? Some people eat too much and some people don't eat enough, and so wherever you are, you've got to find the right balance, and that is really helpful, I find, to do that every once in a while. And if you do find a gap, or you want to fine tune things, then it's also a great tool to help you do that mindfully and confidently. It's a free thing. It's, I'm not, I they don't know me, but I find that it's really helpful. And so, oh, Karen said thumbs up. Okay, good. Yeah. So I would say 25 to 30 would be a great place to start. And then depending on your own situation, you can change it up a little bit, and and find out where you are right now. You know, too much protein from non-plant sources can actually, I believe, be harmful. So, okay, so let's talk about vitamin D and calcium. Those are two essential nutrients that are super important for maintaining strong bones, a resilient immune system, and a balanced mood, especially as we age. Like, most people know that they're important, but what many don't realize is that our ability to absorb and benefit from these nutrients declines as we get older. So everything declines as we get older. So we got to work harder, which makes it even more important to be intentional about getting enough. Now, as we age, our risk for osteoporosis and bone fractures increase, especially for women after menopause. I was diagnosed with osteoporosis when I was in my 40s. I think I may have even been younger. And I was told that I had the bones of a 90-year-old at one point. Um, Not in my 40s, but over the years. So I've been working on reversing my osteoporosis, which is why I also wear the weighted vest. Sometimes I have a weighted belt or wrist weights, and I do weights to put more stress on my bones and help them become stronger. And I know they are, because I can do more than I used to. I just haven't had the DEXA scan yet, and I will. I just am not in a hurry, because bones take a long time to gain, rebuild, I should say. But that's why these nutrients, along with regular weight bearing exercises, you know, think walking. If you're not doing anything, start somewhere, right? Think walking, dancing. I love to dance. And especially resistant training if you have osteoporosis diagnosis. The weight bearing exercises are really, really key. And they're pretty much mandatory if you want to stay strong and stable and vibrant for the long haul. And you don't have to have it be boring. Make it fun. Go for a hike, go do it with a friend, put on your favorite music, change it up, right? So, I like to do stuff outside: bicycling, hiking, hula hooping, jump roping, and, all kinds of things. Just get creative. Even, anything that you're doing, even bowling, make sure your back is safe and good. So I want to tell you, compound exercises, that is a secret tool and are beneficial for osteoporosis, because It stimulates bone growth and increases bone density by applying significant loads to the bones, particularly in weight-bearing positions. So, which is crucial for strengthening muscle and bones. So, like when you're doing squats or your deadlifts or your lunges, and they involve multiple joints and multiple muscles. And that leads to a greater stress on the bones. And there's osteoclasts and osteoblasts. I'm not going to get into all that today, but there's you want to create stress on the bones so that the bones will be able to regenerate and become strong. And vitamin D is part of that. We've got to have vitamin D. So let's start with vitamin D. It's often called the sunshine vitamin. Oh, okay. Before we get into that, I see a question. And Gina said, what is a compound exercise? Yes. And so it's basically a combination of two types of exercises in one. So doing two at the same time. So you're doing a squat maybe, right? And then you're also doing something overhead, some kind of arm thing and then a squat thing, the compounding, working two at the same time so that you're getting all kinds of muscles working and not just focusing on, your bicep, or your tricep. You want to have all of them work together. So hopefully that is helpful. Yes. Karen is in the house. Karen says it's two different movements in the same time. Yes. And that is correct. And I love that. That was really a great way to define it. So if you want to look up compound exercises, you could definitely do that and find some great ones. Just be sure that it's safe for you, and start out slow. Make sure it's safe. Ask your doctor, if you're concerned about just starting out or if you had an injury. And yeah, go from there. So Karen says, I wish I had more motivation to do those regularly. Well, hey, I'm trying to be your motivation. Let's get it done together. And once you do it, sometimes it's hard, because sometimes we're like, oh, we look at it as a chore. But a lot of times after we do it, we feel so good that those are the endorphins. And it might take a little bit to get to that if you're just starting out. But that's why I was mentioning doing things and mixing it up, right? With outside or different programs or different ways to do it. Do you know the other day I was walking Remy? I walk him almost every morning. And I started skipping. Had my leash and I was skipping and cars were driving by, and why not? That's a great one. I'm moving all kinds of things. I'm hitting the pavement, so I'm stimulating the bone to grow, and I am getting my heart racing, and it was fun. So, oh my gosh. Okay, Core Scorpio says compound exercises are also referred to as synergistic exercises. Oh, the more you know. Yeah. And then Karen says, sounds good, Jennifer. Okay, so who's going to try to, if it's safe, if you want to, who's going to try to skip next time they're out? Now, don't skip over something and fall, but I don't know, if you feel like you want to do that and it's safe for you, then I think that's great. Okay, so let's start with vitamin D. Vitamin D, like I had mentioned, is often called the sunshine vitamin because your body produces it in response to the ultraviolet B or UVB rays that are found in natural sunlight. Vitamin D is actually more like a hormone in how it functions in the body, and it helps regulate our calcium absorption, supports your immune defenses, and it plays a big role in mental health and mood regulation. Are you seeing a pattern here with all of this? So low levels of vitamin D have been linked to everything from fatigue, low mood, to increased risk of chronic diseases. So how do you get your vitamin D? Well, sunlight is your best and most natural source. Anybody else have any other ideas? Write it in the chat. Yeah, so just maybe 15 to 20 minutes of sunshine on your skin without sunscreen a few times a week can help your body produce what it needs. Though this also depends on where you live, right? Because like here we get so much sun, and then other places, you don't get as much sun. You have to look at that, and then also your skin tone plays a part. So if you have a lighter skin tone, you don't need as much. If your skin is darker, then you will be able to be out a little bit longer. And of course, the season. Now, I also understand that there are certain times of the day that are best to get your vitamin D, because we do want to be careful that you don't get the rays, and skin cancer is a real thing. And so I was told up to like 10 o'clock in the morning, from sunrise to 10, and then from 10 to 2, maybe not so much, and then after 2. And so it doesn't always work out for me. I go out when I can, but it's just something that I do think about. Oh, what time is it? Okay, maybe I'll only just do 5 minutes here or there or whatever. And so let's see. Oh, Annette, I have to go get ready for yoga. Good for you, Annette. Yes, get in there and stretch and move. I'm so proud of you. Thank you for being here, and we will miss you. And of course, Corby said enjoy yoga, Annette. Okay, any guesses for anywhere else we get vitamin D? So I don't know, but I'm going to point to something right here. Anybody know what this is? What these little guys are? Oh my gosh. Hi, Else. Good to have you here. We were just trying to figure out where you can find vitamin D besides the sun. And Gina S says, we just got a fresh dumping of snow. Yikes. Well, you can still get sun, can't you? But it might be cold to do that. Anyways, I will stay focused here. Sun exposed mushrooms, like UV exposed portobello mushrooms, cremini, maitake, any of them. Yes, Gina S says mushrooms, and Karen says, what about before sundown? Yes, absolutely. Before sundown, just the hours between 10 and 2, I think, are when the strongest rays come through. And that's why maybe if you have a chance, you would pick either before or after that. But great. Elle says dairy. Okay, mushrooms. Well, the different kind of sun exposed mushrooms are like a plant-based dietary source. So they're one of the few foods that can actually provide a vitamin D2. Now, not all mushrooms will do that. You have to make sure, if you're buying mushrooms or you're eating mushrooms, that you're getting the ones that were grown outside, not grown indoors under lights. And I have noticed now, this is just what I had in the house. These are from Costco, and I was looking at the label, and they don't say that they were grown outdoors, and I'm guessing that they don't have the vitamin D. But I just, just to have a visual, I put them here. But I have seen in our Sprouts market, there are the plastic cover that they come in, unless you get the bulk ones, but that will say vitamin D on there. And that's how I know those were grown outside, and I can get those, versus ones that might just say organic, or it just might say the type of mushrooms. Now, if you're going to the farmer's market like we do, and I buy some really unique ones there, I want to make sure, are these grown outdoors? And if they are, then I know, again, okay, I'm good to get those. So I want to check the chat. And yeah, Gina S says through the window. And I was actually thinking that, even though I didn't say that. She's talking about vitamin D and the sun. Yeah, Gina, wow, sun-exposed mushrooms, would never have thought that. Yeah, it's true. And you can not always, it's not easy to find them, but it's there, they're there. Elle says, I was kidding, I didn't know that about mushrooms. Are some grown uh, hydroponically? As long as they're outside and the sun is feeding them that lighting, I'm pretty confident that it doesn't matter how they're grown. Although I know a lot of people forage, and so that wouldn't be hydroponically, because that would hydroponically is done with water, and the ones that are foraged usually are attached to the tree. So I just want to say that Todd is in the house. He's back. Hi, honey. Welcome, sweetheart. Hi. I hope everything went well, and we're all glad you had lots of people saying hello, and I told everybody that you weren't here. So Core Scorpio says, welcome to the jungle, Todd. And Gina S says, welcome to the party, Todd. Yes, I agree. And so anyways, yeah, so I'm glad that you guys are learning some stuff. So and then I want to talk about, let's just finish up with the vitamin D. So for some people, supplements may be necessary, right? Especially in the winter months, or if you live in northern climates, right? It's like we heard Gina S say that it's snowy over there, or wherever, where are you, Gina S? I recommend checking your blood levels, right? Going to your doctor, ask your doctor, and decide on a high quality vitamin D3 supplement derived from from plants, if you can. And then you'll know. And just because you start on vitamin D, if you do supplements, or you maybe need supplements, it doesn't mean you have to take them year round, right? So I have in the past taken them during a winter time, or when my vitamin D was low. And then the next season came and I had been on supplements, and then I had my blood test and I was high enough. So I got off of it, and then I just test and go from there. So currently I'm not taking vitamin D, but if I find that they're low, then I might supplement based on whatever my doctor and I agree. So here's a tip. Vitamin D, the kind found in supplements, ready for this, is fat soluble. So take your supplement with a meal that contains a healthy fat. What did we talk about? What are fats? Think avocado, think hemp seeds, or even I've got over here tahini. You can make a tahini dressing. Now, I'm not saying eat the whole thing, but it will help improve absorption. If you don't want to do tahini, you can do sesame seeds, which that's basically what that is. And so you can take those things together and see if that helps. What do you guys think about that? So now I want to move on to calcium. Okay, here's a question for you guys before we get started. What foods contain the highest amount of calcium? What foods contain the highest amount of calcium? Anyone know? Because calcium is often associated with dairy. But trust me, you do not need dairy to get all the calcium your body needs. In fact, the countries with the highest dairy consumption often have higher rates of osteoporosis, for goodness sake. Isn't that crazy? That's because bone health isn't just about calcium quantity. It's about how well your body is absorbing it and how it's using it. That is influenced by many other factors, like the vitamin D we talked about, like magnesium, and also even how active you are. So if you're not drinking or eating dairy products, and you don't think you should, well, I don't think you should be, then where does it come from? Where does your protein come from? Where does your calcium come from? All right, so what foods contain calcium? I'm going to check the chat. And I see, Else is in the house. Hey, and I did say hi, but let's see what She says, hey, Jennifer, could you tell me how to pick out a papaya? I don't know how. We have them in Alberta, but I don't think the one I saw are ripe. Yes, absolutely. Don't I have a papaya here? I do. I have a papaya right here. So this is a papaya. This is an organic papaya. I can't always find organic papayas. We're going to take a little detour and then we will talk about calcium. But I want to answer her question. And so this is kind of a small one, and it's okay if you can't find an organic one. But what you have to, I mean, isn't this a giant thing? Was hanging from a tree. It's just amazing. But do you see how it's kind of speckly? It almost looks like, I don't know. It looks like it might be not damaged. What do I want to say? Bruised? It's not. So if it's a real green one, that is not ripe. And sometimes if you buy a green one and you let it ripen at home, sometimes they still don't ripen. So I like to find the ones, I'm going to come a little closer too and show you. I like to find the ones that have a little bit of spotting. They're kind of yellowish. And when I push on it, I don't want any soft spots. This looks like a soft spot, but it's not. It's firm still. So I'm not concerned about that. And I just want to make sure that it's not hard as a rock, but I don't want any super soft spots. It kind of reminds me of how I would choose an avocado, right? Just a little bit, but the color, I like to go with the speckles and the yellowish color. And, most of the time, I get a good, nice, ripe one. And then there are every once in a while where I don't, because they're not grown locally. And so hopefully that's helpful. And maybe you can try that and let me know what you think. And then when I do let it sit on the counter for a while. And then when I am ready, I just cut it mostly down the middle. And then there's usually these little seeds in there, and they are edible. I tried it. It was not for me, but there's value in it. And I don't know. I just scoop those out and I enjoy the papaya. Do not ingest the skin, just peel the skin and let me know if that is helpful. Okay, so any other questions? Let's see. Oh yes, we have people talking. Okay, so Elle says greens for calcium. Gina says greens and beans. And Gina S says same as the cows. That's right. From our plants. That's right. I love it. John Juice says bok choy and collard greens. And Gina says, I've never bought a good papaya. Need to know also. Okay. And so, yeah, try those. See if that works for you. And don't give up on the papaya. I'll be able to help you if you try that and it doesn't work. We can talk about it again as well. And John Juice says, oh, gotta go. Another great learning lesson. Thank you. Oh, yes, of course. Thanks for chatting. And bye, John. And Elle says, thanks so much. I didn't have a clue. Yeah, no worries. So I'm glad that we could talk about that. Okay, so these are all really great answers. You can find calcium in whole food, plant-based lifestyle, right? So plant milks like almond milk, soy milk, oat milk, hemp milk, they often contain just as much, if not more calcium than cow's milk. So if you're looking for calcium in your plant milk and you're going to purchase it, you can check the labels. And if you are really wanting to make sure you get a lot of it, you can get some that are fortified if you want to get extra. That actually would include fortified orange juice as well, which isn't a plant milk, but you can get it that way. And so you could check that. Okay. Also, dark leafy greens like collards, bok choy, kale, and turnip greens are excellent sources of calcium. Yes, I did say turnip greens. And they come with what else? Fiber, magnesium, vitamin K, and that also supports our bone health, Tahini, which we talked about a minute ago, right? Again, it's just the ground up sesame seeds. Or I said you can go with the sesame, just the plain sesame seeds as well as almonds, which I don't have out today right now, but those are rich in calcium and they're the healthy fats. Plus they make delicious additions to dressings and sauces and snacks. And we already mentioned you can make almond milk. So yeah, now here's something. Let's see where it is. Aha. These. Anyone know what these are? Dried figs. Yes, figs, the fruit. Figs are surprisingly high in calcium. And they are naturally sweet, which is yummy. You can also find calcium in kiwi, in oranges, in apples, dried gooseberries. I don't have any of those laying around, but you can. And those are just a few. Plus, they're fun to snack on. You can use them as salad toppers. So yeah, figs, dried figs, or even fresh figs. But okay, another one, blackstrap molasses. This is an old school superfood. It's packed with calcium, iron, potassium. Stir a spoonful of it into some warm water or put some in a smoothie, and then you can get a mineral-rich boost. I even like dipping this. Putting some on like a spoonful or a little cup, and then I like taking fresh strawberries and dipping it as if it was my chocolate dipped strawberries, but it's actually my blackstrap molasses strawberries. And that's really good. Tastes just a tiny bit different, but it's really, really yummy. Another tip is spreading your calcium intake out, throughout the day for your best absorption. And remember, movement and plus minerals equal strong bones for life. So I'm going to check the chat to see if there are any new questions, and I don't need to because Todd is saying there aren't. So I'm going to ask you another question. Do you know what the one thing we haven't talked about yet to help improve longevity? Do you know what it is? It's not exercise or chemicals or science stuff. Can you guess? Okay. So what's the one thing, and maybe the most important thing, that we haven't even talked about yet? If you said hydration, you are right. Hydration, oh my gosh, is critical for energy, detox, digestion, joint health, and skin. Staying hydrated. Look, I've got my, oh my gosh, I've got my water and my strong bones to lift it. Staying hydrated is essential for so many of your body core functions. I mean, we're talking energy production, nutrient absorption, detoxification, digestion, joint lubrication, temperature regulating, even with your skin's elasticity. Hydration is one of the best natural beauty tools we've got. And hydration doesn't mean just drinking gallons of water every day, though you could. I tend to drink a lot of water, and I can tell when I haven't had enough. So, did you know as we age, something sneaky happens? Our sense of thirst naturally declines. So that means older adults are more likely to become dehydrated, and they don't even realize it. You might not feel thirsty, but your body still desperately needs that hydration to keep everything running smoothly. Todd, what is going on? Is there any guesses, even though I already shared?
There was not. Gina S. Just asked, what?
Oh.
What did we not talk about yet?
Okay.
And then I think she's threatening to drink it out of a fishbowl.
Whatever works. There's a filter for everything, or a straw. Okay, so dehydration can leave you feeling, you can have symptoms, right? You can feel tired or foggy, or you can even feel hungry. Do you know how many times I think I'm hungry and I eat something and I'm still not satisfied. And then I realize, wait, maybe try to see if I'm thirsty. And I drink water and that's what it is. So it can impact our kidney function, blood pressure, heart rate, and even contribute to digestive issues. And you can get a headache. You can get a headache by feeling dehydrated. So don't wait until you're thirsty to get hydrated. Do it proactively, not reactively. So I tend to measure out my day's worth of water and then have it where I'll see it out. So if I'm home, so that I don't forget. And if I drink it all and I want more, then that's fine. But this way, I know without thinking about it that I got my daily intake in. And some of my favorite ways to hydrate my body, well, my favorite way is the good old fashioned water, right? You can sip it throughout the day, especially between meals, and that will help keep your system balanced and energized. And you can even change it up by drinking it cold or room temperature or hot. I add fruit to change up the flavor. And if you like that, you can, but just keep drinking the water. I actually have a 32-ounce glass of water every morning, and then I do another 32 ounces with lemon. I just like that. And sometimes in the winter, or when I'm cold, it doesn't have to be winter, I tend to like hot water with lemon. So that's good. Now, herbal teas, right? And I've got some here. Herbal teas, hibiscus, we've got turmeric. I just got this as a gift from a friend, and I haven't even opened it yet, but it says elderberry. And here's, whoops, this is backwards. Turmeric, amber sun. So, teas, herbal teas, they're great warm, they're great cold, and they hydrate you while also offering some calming or therapeutic benefits. You can do peppermint, chamomile, hibiscus. In this right here, if you could see this is hibiscus from the real hibiscus plant. My girlfriend gave this to me, and I dried it out, and I took the seeds out so I can grow my own. And then I can just put this in and steep it in hot water. So I just thought that would be fun to share. Another one is ginger. Ginger is great. So even mixing them up is fun too. I recently had a girlfriend that's in another country share about some of the teas that she drinks. And there are some really interesting mixes, and we can make our own mixes too. So water is rich in like certain fruits, like watermelon. It's right. It's got the word water right in it. Cantaloupe, oranges, strawberries, and grapes. These not only help with hydration, but also provide electrolytes and something we talked about at the very beginning today, antioxidants, right? Hydrating veggies such as cucumbers. Oh, I was going to bring my cucumber out. I forgot. Celery, which I've got right over here. Celery, zucchini, radishes, lettuce, bell peppers. Those are all hydrating vegetables. You can toss them in salads, put them in your smoothies, munch on them raw, dip them in your hummus, your favorite hummus if you want. And then what if you don't, I have a relative who doesn't like water, doesn't like the flavor of water. Well, okay, try liquid in your soups or your broths. Homemade veggie broths are incredibly hydrating, and then they've got nutrient-dense, benefits to them. Sipping a warm mug of broth in the afternoon on a cold day, that's a great way to get your water intake in. You can even have it cold if you are into that. And then there is coconut water. I wish I could get it in the coconut here and climb up our coconut tree, which we don't have. But I get it this way right now. I know, not the best way, but coconut water can also be a great hydrating option. And I have been using it for a long time. And especially if you're active, right? Or you're sweating a lot. At one point, I was drinking 16 ounces of coconut water a day to help with my low levels of potassium. Now I drink it just for hydration whenever I feel like it, since my potassium levels are fine these days. Yay. So just remember, hydration is part of your full nutrition team, right? So if you're eating a lot of fiber, which I hope you are, you need water to help that fiber do its job. Fiber absorbs water. and helps move the waste through your system. So staying hydrated is crucial for digestion and for detoxing and for everything. So it's one of the simplest, most powerful ways to support your longevity. So sip it often, eat water-rich foods, and then treat your body to the nourishment it needs, both inside and outside. So there are some things you can do to improve your longevity that you should think about, and they may be just as meaningful as what we've just already talked about. Okay, that would be eating mindfully. What does that mean? Chewing your food slowly, sitting down to eat, and stopping when you're full. That helps prevent overeating and supports digestion. Because remember, our stomachs don't have teeth, right? So chewing to a cream is always a great way to get the most out of your food. Breaking up the cell walls of your food and breaking them down, and that helps your body help you. There's also intermittent fasting, giving your body time to rest between meals, like anywhere from, you could do 10 to 16 hours overnight. That can help your cells go into repair mode. So minimizing or hopefully completely eliminating processed foods. Come on. These foods, if you want to call them that, are inflammatory and devoid of any nutrients. So the more whole foods, the more healing it becomes. Let's see, we have a question. What do you look for in coconut water? Ooh, good question. Well, honestly, that it's just coconut water. Sometimes there will be other ingredients, and I don't want that. Even if they just say watermelon, or I recently saw that this brand of coconut water has one that has carbonation in it. And I thought, well, that's kind of fun. But then I decided that's not for me because carbonation can change the pH levels in our body. So I just go with organic coconut water. I have bought them in a coconut. I have done it enough times to measure how much am I getting for the price. And they're about 8 ounces. A coconut has about 8 ounces of coconut water in it. Trying to figure out how to get in there. And then I don't eat the coconut. So I felt like it was a waste. But this particular brand I really like. It's called Harmless Harvest. They used to sell it at our Costco. They don't right now. I hope they get it back. I find it at our Sprouts or our natural grocer, and it just says organic coconut water. It's pink because of oxidation. There's a whole thing about don't worry, it's natural, and they don't do anything. I don't want the coconut water to have any kind of heating done to it, and they keep it in the refrigerator, and it talks about if you just leave it alone, then the antioxidant levels can cause pinking over time. So I just want to make sure that it's organic, that it's only coconut. And then I try some different brands, and I find one that I like the flavor of too. So hopefully that's helpful to you. And good question. Thank you so much. Yeah, young coconuts. That's also really true, Gina S. And the ones that come from Thailand too. And this says product of Thailand. So good. Yes, I'm glad I threw that in there, and I'm glad you threw that in there. So just finishing up. So to reduce or eliminate added sodium, added sugar, and oils as part of your recipe for longevity, since these can lead to chronic inflammation and metabolic dysfunction over time. And I know firsthand and wished I had known sooner, honestly. And one more thing that's not a food, but it's food for the soul. It's what we have here, connection. And whether that's sharing meals or laughing with others or having a community, that has been shown to be just as important for longevity as the food itself. There are great ways to stay connected, to meet new people, make new friends, share your love of longevity and optimum quality of life with people. So here's a question. How have you made connection in your life with finding like-minded people? I have made it my business to connect with others, learned from others, and felt supported in those communities when I first started out. I joined online groups. Some were free, some were paid memberships. And I discovered local potlucks. And even while traveling, go to see speakers who share about the science behind living life for longevity and quality of life. And so that's what I would say. Anybody have any answers in there? Right? No? Okay, so if you've made it this far with me, I want to thank you. You're already investing in your future self just by being here, and I appreciate it. And I got one more quick question for you. Else says, very helpful. Oh, good. I'm so glad. Let me know how it goes with the coconut water. And the question is, what's the one thing you're going to take away from this talk today? How will you use it to improve your longevity? Tell me, because I'd love to cheer you on. I want to know. So while we're waiting for your responses, and if this was helpful, again, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe. I know we talked about that earlier. And again, if you want to join my newsletter, you can go to thejenniferdiamond.com. So your future self is already thanking you. And so am I. I really appreciate I really appreciate you guys being here. So let's see. Very helpful. Elle says, I have a couple of online groups and I was able to join them. Good. I don't know another soul who does this except for my husband. Well, you know what? That's a great way to have a community in your home. That's a big one. And I feel like you're very fortunate. I hope you feel that way too. Jill says, eat more greens. Eat more greens. Yes. And Elle says, I missed most of it, but I'll be getting papaya when possible. Good. And Lee says, I need to drink more water. Hey, well, great. I'm glad that this has been helpful for you guys. And so, like I always say, don't forget to eat your greens. And like Jill said, eat more greens. And if living longer and with more vitality is something that you want, then give plants a chance, honestly. Give plants a chance. They will help you in so many ways. And I just want to thank you again for your time. I know I went over quite a bit. I apologize, but we were having so much fun. And Gina S. says, that you are an amazing speaker and I love your videos. Oh, thank you so much. I really do appreciate that. And I love having you guys here. And I just hope that this was inspiring and helpful and that you may have learned something or been reminded of something. And I just want to say, I look forward to next time, everybody. Take care. And thanks for hanging in there with me. All right, until next time.